The Galactic Council's decree had been unanimous. Humanity was too dangerous, too unpredictable, too violent to remain among the civilized species. Ambassador Isabella Chen had stood before the assembled delegates, her voice steady even as her world crumbled around her. "You condemn us for surviving," she had said, her dark eyes sweeping across the chamber. "For refusing to die quietly when the universe demanded it." The Vorath Prime Minister, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's light into 1,000 colors, had merely clicked his mandibles in dismissal. "Humanity is a plague. You will return to your solar system. The quarantine barrier will be erected within the solar week. Any attempt to breach it will be considered an act of war." That had been 50 Earth years ago. Marcus Webb stood on the observation deck of the Phantom's Edge, watching the quantum barrier shimmer like oil on water at the edge of the Sol system. He was third-generation quarantine, born after the walls went up, raised on stories of a galaxy humanity would never see again. "Still brooding, Commander?" Isabella's voice carried across the deck. She was older now, silver threading through her black hair, but her spine remained unbent. After her failure at the Council, she had returned to Earth and done something the galaxy hadn't expected. She had built an empire in the shadows. "Not brooding, Director," Marcus replied, turning from the viewport. "Anticipating." Isabella smiled, the expression sharp as a blade. "Good. Because in 3 hours, we remind the galaxy what humanity does when you back us into a corner." 50 years of isolation had not weakened Earth. It had forged it into something new. While the Galactic Council believed humanity festered in its cage, humans had done what they always did. They adapted, they innovated, they survived. The quantum barrier that imprisoned them had become their teacher. Human scientists, led by Isabella's network of geniuses, had dissected its frequency, mapped its patterns, learned its secrets. But they hadn't stopped there. They had improved upon it. "Status report," Isabella commanded, her heels clicking against the deck as she moved to the holographic display. "All shadow fleets are in position," Marcus said, his fingers dancing across the interface. 300 vessels, cloaked using our quantum refraction technology. The Council's sensors can't detect us. As far as they know, we're still playing with chemical rockets and dreaming of Mars." "And the Vorath?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "Their mining operation in the Kepler system is fully operational, 12 extraction facilities, minimal defense. They believe themselves untouchable." For 50 years, humanity had watched through stolen sensor feeds and hacked communication arrays. They had observed as the Vorath expanded into what had once been humanity's promised frontier. They had documented every slight, every resource stolen, every world that should have been humanity's. And they had planned. "The galaxy cast us out because they feared what we might become," Isabella said softly, her reflection ghosting across the holographic star map. "They were right to be afraid. But they made one critical error. They let us prepare," Marcus finished. Isabella nodded. "Operation Phoenix begins now. Commander, take us through." Marcus input the command sequence, and the Phantom's Edge shuddered as its experimental drive engaged. The quantum barrier that had held humanity captive for half a century parted like a curtain, responding to the same harmonic frequency that created it. The ship slipped through without so much as a ripple. They were free. Behind them, 300 vessels followed, each one a testament to human ingenuity. They were sleek where Galactic Council ships were bulky, efficient where others were wasteful, deadly where others were merely dangerous. 50 years of focused evolution had created a fleet unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Jumping to Kepler," Marcus announced. "ETA, 4 minutes." Isabella closed her eyes, remembering that day in the council chambers. She remembered the contempt in their alien eyes, the certainty that humanity was finished. They had called humans violent, and they weren't wrong. But violence wasn't humanity's true danger. Humanity's danger was that they learned. The Phantom's edge dropped out of quantum space above Kepler 442b. Below, the Vorath mining facilities glittered across the planet's surface like cancerous growths. The Vorath defense fleet, a mere dozen ships, oriented toward the sudden arrival. "They're hailing us," Marcus reported. "They seem confused." "Put them through," Isabella said. The Vorath commander's crystalline face appeared on the view screen, his expression cycling through surprise, recognition, and finally, fear. "That's impossible," he whispered. "You're quarantined. You can't be here." Isabella leaned forward, her smile cold. "You built a cage for humanity. We thank you. Do you know what happens when you put pressure on carbon, Commander? When you subject it to heat and force and time?" The Vorath commander said nothing, his form flickering with distress. "You get diamonds," Isabella continued. "You cast us out, isolated us, tried to bury us. Instead, you gave us time to become something harder, something sharper, something unbreakable." "This is an act of war," the Vorath commander managed. "No," Marcus interjected, his voice like iron. "This is a collection of debts 50 years overdue." The Shadow Fleet decloaked, 300 vessels materializing from nothing, surrounding the Vorath position in a sphere of overwhelming force. Isabella stood. "Inform the Galactic Council. Humanity has returned. We have not forgotten. We have not forgiven. And we are done asking for permission to exist. Tell them we built an empire in the dark, and now we're bringing the light. Tell them everything changes today." The transmission ended. Below, the Vorath facilities began to evacuate. They knew, as Isabella had known 50 years ago, that some moments changed everything. Marcus looked at his director, his commander, the woman who had turned humanity's greatest defeat into its greatest victory. "What now?" he asked. Isabella smiled, watching humanity's shadow fleet spread across the stars like a promise finally kept. "Now," she said, "now we remind the galaxy what humanity, Fonye, really means." End.